Okay, now we are live and I'm on the video as well, so it'll be nice that way. Right, so we will come to the first section. Okay, the first section of Satipatthana. So this is DN22. Then we come to the first section. It's Kaya Anupassana. See, now there is this Anupassana, right? Not just looking at the body, but it is more about deep dive or getting totally into it. So the first thing we need to understand is what is that is called as anupassana. Okay, so let's understand it in a much better sense. Okay, and that would help us to establish the sati. Sati here means mindfulness. Sati also can be remembrance. So first thing we need to understand is anicca dukkha anatta, then nibiddha viraga nirodha patinissagga. Okay, then you get experience of the anicca nature in that, and then you can experience the disillusionment, that is nibiddha. Then you get into viraga nirodha patinissagga, that means detachment. So now I spoke all of that in Pali, so let me give it in a very easy to understand English. Okay. So what are we trying to do is we first make the mind to stick to something. It moves everywhere. Okay, that's a first trick to trick the mind. So trick number one. Okay, you need to have this trick because when I say I am, it's the mind. There's nothing else other than mind. First thing we need to understand it. So whatever I say I am, I'm eating, I'm feeding, I'm sleeping, I'm seeing, I'm hearing, I'm tasting, I'm touching, smelling, doing whatever. My name is Vilas, my name is this, I have a friend. Let's say I have a friend Ariu and I have a friend Matt. Who is this I? Where do I find him? It's nothing but the mind because it has feeling, it has perception, right? So if you look at the chitta, in some places Buddha uses chitta, and some places he uses mana or mano. So chitta sankhara and mano sankhara. The first way to understand what is sankhara. Sankhara is from two adding two things, and especially from an Indian context, not from a Western context. So when we say sankhara, kara is to do. Sankara is to intentively do something with intention. So I have an intention. Can be a noble intention, can be an ignoble intention, can be whatever that intention is, but there's an intention. Okay, there's an intention. Nothing is done without an intention. Like Ariu went and dropped his son. It's an intention to drop the son. Right? And you went to work and you came back. I went to work, I came back. What it means is that there's an intention. So intention is the first thing that would be there. So I intend to do something, including Dhamma. There's an intention. Abhisankhara is not only the normal way of things, but make it completely different than what it is. Okay, it doesn't exist that way, but I try making it that way. Now what is this? I prepare the body, this body, to be something different other than what it is meant for. Okay. I make the speech. Speech is there for communication, but I make it in a different way. This, I want to add something to it. That's called abhi, higher. So I do something about it. And the mano is also the same. The mind is supposed to just perceive, perceive, but it feels different, perceives different. Got it? Now, the idea here is to get to the basics of it. So, what's the basic? The basic of Kaya Sankhara is in breath, out breath. The basic, if you were to ask, what's this Kaya, body or a collection of something, and what it's Sankhara, what it does? It goes up and it goes down. That's the only thing the body can do, isn't it or not? So there's an in breath, the body goes up, the entire body goes up, and there's an out breath, the entire body goes down. Yes, but I don't feel it. Yes, because we are distracted. So first watch the breath, then you will find that not only there, even the ears are going up and coming down, and the head is going up and coming down. Then I see the stomach is going up and coming down, and the whole body, legs, toes, everything is going up and coming down, going up, coming down. So I'm bringing my awareness by focusing at the nostril, right? So 3-step process: focus, attention, awareness, right? So basically that's what I'm supposed to be doing, not worrying about anything else. So now I have to understand the Kaya Sankhara, which is in breath and out breath, Vachi Sankhara, which is the thinking and pondering, and Mano Sankhara, which is which is feeling and perception. Okay. To get into the mental state, you first need to understand the physical state. And to understand the physical state, you need to understand the sankhara, the preparation of the body. How is body getting prepared? The body is getting prepared by food. The body is getting prepared through the 4 dhatus or the quality, and the body is getting prepared by in breath and out breath. Simple. That's the basic of it. If somebody were to say, what's the basic thing? If you want to check somebody's alive or dead, you're checking by the breath. If you have to carry heavy load, you first take a deep breath and you lift it. Why? You have to do an abhisankhara to do something. The normal sankhara is just an in and out breath. But you want to do something, there is a change in the breath. In the same way, if I have to think, the breath changes. If I have to talk, the breath changes. If I have to eat, the breath changes. So if I were to watch the breath, I can literally get to know how Kaya, Vachi and Mano are interlinked. And that's the reason why everything starts with breath. Clear? So in the Kaya Anupassana, the first section only talks on the breath. But when it says Anupassana, it's not only just the normal breath meditation which is taught in almost everywhere. Buddha technique is about anicca, dukkha, anatta, nibiddha, viraga, nirodha. Okay. This state is what he wants us to be, rather than just getting entangled only in the watching the breath. Got it? So if you look at this section of this Kaya Anupassana, the beginning step is the same. Whether you're following yoga tradition, you're following Mahayana tradition, you're following Vedanta tradition or a non-dual, or you're following whichever tradition, Christian tradition or whichever tradition that is, you have to bring the awareness on the breath. Simple. That step, even here, is the same. It's when a bhikkhu gone into wilderness or to root of a tree or to empty hut, sits down, cross-legged, sets their body straight, establishes mindfulness in front of them. Now, why straight? It's just because the energy centers will not work if it is not straight. So if I am supine or I'm doing something, lazing around, after a while sleep will take over. So the teen amida will come. To ensure that doesn't happen, I need to be sitting cross-legged or whatever legged, cross or straight or whatever. But the spine has to be straight. Now the first thing I need to do is to sit half an hour in straight posture. Half an hour without doing, I don't have to watch the breath or anything. Just setting the body to, like I sit like this, straighten up and sit. How long can I maintain the posture? Even before I start watching the breath. Okay. What's the benefit? The benefit is the mind, which goes behind object, has got this object of what? Observing this body. So it is employed. It doesn't go anywhere now. So you as a mind is talking to another part of the mind, saying that, hey, listen, you watch this. That's your job. And after a while, the body will become loose. So those coming front, then, oh, no, I'm not supposed to be going front. So I need to keep my chest straight. So after a while, the body becomes exactly in the way it should be. Okay. So if I were to get trained in yoga, the advantage is that the pain will not be felt. Right? So there's nothing wrong. So I can go learn yoga technique to sit. Fair deal. Now the next step is to watch the breath. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever that minute is. Now when I really watch the breath, after a while in the sense that if I'm closing my eyes and sitting like this, so I can watch the body going up and coming down, going up, coming down. So that's what he's saying, that so satova asasati. Satova is to know that there is in-breath. That's basically what he's saying. So you remember there is an in-breath and you remember there's an out-breath. That's all. First you remember there is in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath, in-breath, out-breath. That is a kaya sankhara. Just remember that. Oh, this is in-breath, out-breath, and that's kaya sankhara. Now when I have the kaya sankhara, and then I can do something else along with that. If I don't even know that, cannot go further. So then I can see whether it's a long one or a short one. As I start watching, as it cools down, so it becomes slow, the long will become short. So I am objectively saying, this is a short breath. I'm not made a short breath. The breath has become short. The breath has become long. The breath has become uneasy, uneven. If it has become uneven, then he says, I learn to balance it. Okay. So if I read out that particular section, I can look at that I'm breathing long or breathing heavy. Long will be heavy. If I'm breathing short, the breathing will become light to an extent that you can't even feel that any breath is there. Right? So this is what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to look at how this body, okay, relaxes. So it's called passam bhayan. Passa is to see. Bhayan is to let go in a way that it stabilizes. So when I watch the breath and I let it go, the entire body can be felt to be as one single unit going up and coming down, but I am the witness to this going up and coming down. So the whole thing has changed now. From a doer, I've become a witness. And that very moment, you will have a difference of experience. You feel so expanded. The Niramisa Sukha, what is called as Niramisa, that is without any sensual, can be felt. That means beyond the six senses, the mind is able to feel that, which is a better. When you feel it, you know you have felt a different one. You know it is different. I didn't feel it. Then there is the first step. So you again go back. You should feel it. You will feel it. How do you feel it? It's like this is the, let's say it is you, and this is the breath. So you're watching the breath go like this, come down. Go like this, come down. But you are not going up and coming down. You're there. You're watching. So it gives you a different effect. All the time we are going like this, going up, coming down, going up, coming down. Now you remain, this goes up and comes down. So there's a separation between you and the breath. You've got nothing to do with the breath. And that is what he says, sikhati. He learns to observe this difference. And when you see that difference, you can also watch. That means you can come to vipassana, wherein you can watch what is this breath all about. You can see the four dhatus in that and enclosed in space. So it would give you a different experience now. Now that takes you to anupassana. So that means you are doing samatha, vipassana, anupassana, all the three together. Now if you learn this, okay, then you would be able to look at the Vedana in the same way, Chitta in the same way, Dhamma in the same way. So all the three will go together. Okay, because when I start looking at it, the feeling also comes. Feeling of Sukha, feeling of Dukkha, feeling of Niramisa Sukha or Samisa Sukha. Niramisa Dukkha, Samisa Dukkha, like that. I come to know exactly the feelings. Then I come to know the Chitta. that's having raga, because I don't have raga, but the chitta has a raga. So what basically are we trying to do? One is a colored object and another one is a white. So you're making something called as a refined mind and something which is completely deluded. So using the pure mind, you're trying to remove the dirt, but both are the same. But actually, that's not how I'm experiencing right now because of the avidya, ignorance. So the sankharas are happening because of my ignorance. That what is that I'm supposed to be doing, right? And that's what I'm supposed to practice. So to get into this, so much of theory, what we are talking about, the best way to experience is through breath. And that's the reason it is mentioned. Not that that's the only object you need to do. You can choose anything you want, but breath is the most easiest. So what I was saying to you day before yesterday is, if this is not working, go by the Vimala Ramsey route, wherein he talks about creating a joyful thought and keep on watching that. Why? It's same thing, right? Now in this mind that is reflecting, in this side of the mind something else is reflecting, but you don't give energy to this side which is showing something else. So after a while, without giving the power or the energy, it can't hold, so it drops off. So 6 hours, if you were to see, you recognize that there is a thought which has come, then the joyous thought what you wanted, in 2 minutes time it has changed. So something is coming, I've recognized that some other thought has started. Hey, this guy is going to now ask for the space. So first I recognize, then I release the thought. What do you mean release? It means that don't give energy to that. Meaning, there's some song, let's say I listen to some song. That day we were talking, right? Like that. Okay, I don't want to use the same one, so we'll take something else. So some country music. But the moment I say country music, since I love Texas, and that's thing starts. I didn't ask it. I didn't say, hey, play me this song. It plays. I love Denver, to be honest, seriously speaking. And especially, I like Colorado. Okay, Rocky Mountain High. And without my, what I can say, my interest, even though it's been more than 11, 12 years now, a mind can run to Colorado in an instant. It picks up. So I have to recognize that I'm supposed to be talking to Matt and Ariu. Instead, the mind has gone to Colorado. Right? Now I can engage you in Colorado. If you're gone, then you will start talking about it. But the time I have gone and the time you have gone are two different things. Right? Let's say you had just visited Colorado a few days ago, but I didn't visit Colorado a few days ago. I visited Colorado some years ago. Right? And that too a plane journey from Indianapolis to Denver and Denver to Seattle. I'm talking about that one. But whereas you are talking about, let's say, you were driving in Colorado. I didn't drive in Colorado. So that means my enjoyment of Colorado is totally different than your enjoyment of Colorado. But since we three of us know Colorado, we will sign up on that. This is how the name and form gets created. So the vijnana, the consciousness, now makes that, holds on to it. So what I'm trying to do is to recognize this and release that object. So I don't want Colorado now. Otherwise, John Denver songs are going to be played in my mind now. And that there's one song by him, Rocky Mountain High. I would love it. Right? What's wrong in that? Well, I'm sitting here for meditation, not to sing about Rocky Mountain High. So I recognize, release. Then when I release that, I know I have released it. So come back to the same object, which is I now relax. Then I smile over it because it makes sense. Then I return back to the object, or I repeat the whole process as many times as required and return back to the same object. So I can use this in case I am failing on breath. Meaning I'm not able to get that. Like in the Burmese tradition, what he was talking about is that they were asking him to sit and meditate for hours together. Don't worry about the backache, and don't worry about the leg pain, and don't worry about the headache you're getting, and all of that. And he did all of it. It didn't work out for him. Right? And he found out this to be much better. In the same way, for both of you, you might find something else which will work out. So you have to try and see whether that is what is working out for you. If not, throw that tool. Take some other one. Don't get stuck at, I need to get this tool. No, it might not be for you. It's all tools only anyway. Doesn't matter. Don't waste time. Try it out for a week. Didn't work. Throw the tool away. So all of it we have to use for a week. Yes, Aryu.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the 6R method, the recognize, release, relax, re-smile. It can work with any meditation object, right? Yes. It can be work with breath only. So it doesn't have to be loving kindness or, in this case.
No. You don't have to. This 6R can be used for anything.
Yeah.
Any of the 40 things or whatever thing that is. You can use this. Why did he do it? I'm giving you an answer. Why did Vimal Ramsey did it? In his own words, he says that. There's one video which really says why did he do the way he did it. It makes sense, to be honest. There are a lot of people who cannot get this breath thing. They don't get what they wanted to get out of it. So what's the point? There's no point in conditioning and reconditioning it and furthermore conditioning it. See, let's say an example. When I'm seeing this video, I can get the dhatu. So why should I go by breath? Is there a need? No. I don't require. No matter if somebody says that, hey, you know what, in the Vipassana class, you're supposed to be sitting 14 hours watching the breath. I'll say, no, that's not required for me. Why? Because I'm able to get through this another method of the same Buddha, not about somebody else. There's nothing wrong. It works for me in that way. Ultimately, what are you trying to do? Come to the dhatu through breath. And you're supposed to understand it is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Yes, I'm finding it. So it doesn't matter whether I'm seeing it through breath, seeing it through body parts contemplation, 32 body parts contemplation, or getting it through the Brahma Vihara way, or I'm getting that through the observing the dhatus in the breath itself or in the body or wherever it is, in whatever format it is given. The whole objective here is to get going for yourself or myself, and then don't change that object, that method. Yes. Yeah, Arya.
Yeah, I think the Mind Illuminated book has a good analogy. It says, I think my understanding is whatever meditation object you choose, it's just like an anchor. It's that the mind is like the ocean where it's so, turbulent, you cannot see anything. So you build an anchor, you start building it bigger and more stable. So you can eventually stand on it where
Yes.
you're stable and you're watching. So that's the whole purpose of choosing a meditation object, from what I understand.
Yes, you're right. So we need to hold on something which works out for us. It can be anything. So basically, if we know how to identify, everything else becomes automated. So we need to try. This one working, not working. No, it is not working. So I tried for a week, didn't work. Okay, no problem. Next. Something in that will work for you. There's nothing that will say that it will not work for you. So the question then comes, should I be watching breath all the time? Oh, that's pretty not possible for me. Can you watch the dhatu all the time? Because you're meeting, whomever you're meeting is a dhatu. Whatever you're touching is a dhatu. Oh, like air you came in a car, there's no car as such. It's just a dhatu. It's a patavi, apo, tejo, vayu. Right? The steering wheel is patavi. I know it is steering wheel. And then that will not work. Dhatu will not work. It's not intellectualization. This is where we need to understand what is being intellectual. Intellectual means a knowledge what you gain, which is superficial. You don't have an experience of that, but you feel that you can understand it. Okay, it's like mind playing games. It's called mind game, right? So now the mind, you being the mind, you're saying that this is what I want to do, right? So it holds on to the steering wheel. It knows it's a steering wheel, but still keeps on pretending that, oh, I'm holding Patavidat. It might not work. Okay. So basically what we are supposed to do is to experience Patavidatu as real. And that's the reason he uses the word abhinya, to see it in a real different way. So when you experience that, you feel, wow, I got it, man. This is Patavi. So then onwards, there's no need to practice on Patavi Dhatu separately, because now you know how to basically discern Patavi. Then you can discern Apo, then Tejo, then Vayu, Akasa, 5. And then you get the knowledge of how to understand Vijnana or consciousness. So this method, if it works, there's no need for breath. Even there is no need for doing that Iryapabba, which is in 4 postures. Then Sampajanya Papa in all the postures. Not required. What's the point in struggling and suffering with it? If somebody comes and tells me, hey Vilas, this breath meditation is the only method, I would say, yes, that's a method, not the only method. There are many methods in the Buddha Dhamma. One of that is breath. If somebody were to tell me that that's the most easiest method, I would agree with that. It's the most easiest. Why? Because it's neutral. There's nothing you need to do except for watching the breath. Come on, that's the most difficult thing. Okay, drop it. Why create a pain for yourself? Like in the case of Aryo, he is wanting to get the breath and he's suffering with the breath. There's no need. Take something else. Take what works for you. So, ultimate aim is
It
that.
works sometimes. It works sometimes, just not. Yeah, there are sometimes I get it, but more
Yeah.
often than not, it doesn't. So there's some trick I'm missing.
Yes. So, yes. Yes, Matt.
Okay, so well, like, all right, so with me, I've found that the breath is very beneficial. Like, it's like I've seen tremendous progress with it. But when you had mentioned earlier that there's a separation, like where you're like you separate, and you're the observer of the breath going up and down. Uh, I think maybe I still kind of struggle with that. But okay, so say if I can be aware of my breath most of the time, like at least the 80% of the day. And then it's like I can see everything that's going on clearly in my mind, but sometimes I do struggle with like this separation. Like it's almost like I feel at one with my breath instead of observing it. And so, I mean, is it possible to like, I guess, be mindful, like even though you haven't felt that separation yet?
Okay, so let's first understand these four terms again. When you focus on the breath, you're not disturbed. So, like a camera, you're focusing. The shutter pressing, not yet clicked, is the attention. It's attending to that, right? Now, instead of random pictures, you position to what you want to take the picture. That is awareness. So, what you're talking is aware. You're aware that there is breath. You're aware that everything is flowing while you're watching the breath, right? You're aware. Now you don't have to really focus on the breath. You don't have to be attending on the breath, but you are able to be aware of the breath, right? So you're fine till here?
Yes. It's like, because it's like throughout the day, like some part of my mind, I'm constantly aware of the breath, and it's like I can focus attention on other things, but it's like still feel the breath like throughout the majority of the day.
Right. Hold on a second. Now, even if you have moved the focus and attention to another object, you're aware of the breath, right? So what you've done, you become an observer, right? Fine. Agree with me, right? Then last step, mindful. Now, what is this mindfulness? Mindfulness means that you can now do all the activities and yet you're completely aware of how breath is moving. As your thought changes, so the breath changes. As the situation changes, so the breath changes. As you get angry, the breath changes. As you want something, crave something, the breath changes. But you are not the breath, right? And that's exactly what is mindfulness. Okay, so what did I do? I first focused on the breath. So I sat for a few moments, few minutes, few seconds, few hours, or whatever that is, right? I'm just watching the breath. This watching breath is the focus. So if somebody were to ask me, what is your focus? What's your focal point? It's not on speech. It's not on sound. It's not on sight. It's not on taste. It's not on touch. It's not on smell. It's not even on the thought, but on the breath. Got it? That's my focus area. How long will you focus? So long as the mind can stick on that. So just like I take a camera, how long will you hit on the shutter? So long as I'm going to take the picture. I'm waiting for the animal to come. And that animal goes fast. So I'm going to, even though it's going to pain, my hand is going to pain after some time. But I'm going to keep the camera still, keep the shutter, and wait. Then from the camera, I'm getting that animal. I'm aware that the animal has come. But if I make the noise, that animal will go away. In the same way, if I make the noise, if I change the focus, focus, gone. Now the breath is gone, so everything is gone, right? Now this damn animal wants to go, but I don't want it to go. So sit silently. Now I become aware of everything that's happening along with the breath, along with it. Haven't I become an observer? Yes. While the thoughts comes, while somebody comes, while I eat, while I smell, while I this, while that, and all the things, funny things are happening, but still on the breath. You know how enjoyable it is, Matt. You have experienced it. Once you get it, you don't have to force to be aware. Before you get it, you have to be aware. You have to practice that awareness. But once you know how to do that, you don't have to be thinking, let me be aware, and that animal is gone. So the third step. Now the fourth one. This is beauty. Mindful. In mindfulness, you don't change. Everything else is moving up, down, here, there, whatever it is. And you watch. Now the anger has come. Great. Oh, now this has come. Great. But it's not for me. I have no idea who that thing is. So using the breath, I'm able to see this. This is very subtle. The breath changes so fast with the object that you become that object. You got it? So the third step has to be practiced properly. And that whole Satipatthana, Kayanupasana talks about the third one. And only in the end he says, Sampajana Kari Hoti. What Sampajanya? It's you become mindful of it. Now your mind doesn't run on the objects. It waits for your command. You want to see the car? It'll say, I am seeing the car. That's not a car, my dear friend. Oh yes, that's not a car. Right? That's beauty. So for this one, I don't have to sit for 20 hours. Like one mad guy sitting straight and, pain, man, oh shit, this is too much. No, I don't have to do that. But to begin with, doing it is good. Right? I'm beginning. I'm a beginner. Without putting that energy, virya, nothing else is going to happen. So I need to put the effort. But once you have picked it up, it's effortless, like the driving. You are not now putting any effort to drive like you were doing the first day when you wanted to learn the car or drive the car. Yes, you are scared. What if I hit a guy or somebody or something? Like if they ask me to drive on the US roads, I will drive on the left side because I'm so used to driving on the left side. But I'm supposed to be driving on the right side, not on the left. And that guy say, "Hey, are you nuts? You're coming on the other side." Even though using the same license, I can drive in the US. I don't have to take an US license to drive in the US. I can just take a Hertz car or some rent car and drive. Nobody is going to ask me. But then there's a problem. I'm driving on the left side of the road, like in if I'm like in Europe. But this is America. So better I'll ask somebody to drive and I sit comfortable and I keep on watching what he drives. And then after a while he says, "Hey Vilas, this road is empty. You can drive. You can learn how to drive. But be careful." And I say, "Okay, now I have to turn. Now I have to see how these people turn." Because here we turn exactly on the left. Now you can't turn the left. That left guy will come and hit you. You turn on the right. But I don't know how to turn right now. I'll learn. So I have to focus. I have to be attentive. Right? Till I drive. First turn, second turn, third turn, and fourth turn, and fifth turn, sixth turn, and seventh turn, I get used to it. That getting used to it is awareness. Now you're aware. You don't have to necessarily see the road. It automatically turns, like what Ari was doing. He was driving, he was listening, he just turned and he parked his car. He never even bothered. Where this is my home. It's okay. I parked it. He didn't have to think, "Oh, wait, did I go to my neighbor's home or somebody's home?" No, because he was mindful, even though he didn't know what is mindfulness. So this is the same mindfulness in a different way. That's it. Okay. It's not a difficult game that we are doing something totally different. Only thing is that we are unconditioning it. Everything else is conditioned and this guy is unconditioned. So unconditioned is nibbana, conditioned is suffering. That's it. There's nothing else we are doing. But by doing more conditioning, we are going to suffer more. So that we shouldn't do. We should let go. See, the Buddha Dhamma is to letting go. Letting go of what? Conditions. And in Pali, the word is sankata. You've created it. It's not there. Vilas is created. It doesn't exist. Chair is created. Car is created. House is created. California is also created. Right? Before that stupid guy called as Columbus missed India and he entered into a land and he didn't know what land was it. He called it India. And they said, "Hey, mad guy, that's not India, man. The Italians have already gone to India. You didn't ask them. You landed in another place." So then he called it Red Indians because he saw all of them red. And then the funny thing happened. The English were controlling the entire economy, like what US is doing today. And they were asking for good amount of fees from this part of the world, where all Europeans settled down in this new land. And then they said, "Forget, we'll not give you anything. So you don't want to give us tea? We don't want to be part of the English crown. So the Boston Tea Party is throw all the tea into the ocean. Dam with your English and your crown. Do whatever you want. Right? And from 1777 to 1935, various things have happened. And you started naming each one of those, and came 50 states. And now what do you think is that's real? And if you go to California, there's no California as such. From the sky, you don't see any California there. You only see a land. But when you land in, let's say, SFO, where's SFO? Then they say, no, it's not SFO, it's actually Bay Area. Okay, show me Bay Area. And that's not Bay Area, that's this area. And that drive, this avenue. It's so confusing, right? What a stupid way of dealing. If I come to Dallas and I don't see Dallas at all, except on the board, where is Dallas? Show me Dallas. Hey, we just named it. Ah, okay. Tomorrow you're going to name that Dallas to something else, right? So you can see that in real, it doesn't exist. Sankata, condition. You're just conditioning something which never existed. You're calling a land something else. And if it is conditioned, it is dependently originated. Why? California is dependent on this land called as America. If you throw out America, there is no California, right? Can it stand on its own? Can the mayor of California stand on his own, saying that, okay, even without US, I can stand? Now it's part of US. It's one of the state in the US. But it's land. What if the seawater were to rush and floods happen and entire California coast is gone? And there's no Baywatch any longer. What is there to watch? There's no Bay Area any longer to watch. And Long Island, where is that Long Island? Right? There's nothing there. So if everything were in the water, where would you find California? No Los Angeles, no San Francisco. Okay, none of those places exist. Right? So if it is Paticcasamutpanna, it has Kaya Dhamma, it's going to go away. And like that, Vaya Dhamma, Viraga Dhamma, Nirodha Dhamma. So this is what it's going to be if it is conditioned. So whatever is conditioned is going to go into a real bad problem, because it's anicca, it is dukkha and anatta. So using breath, you can do all of this. And that's it. That's a very simple. If breath is not working, take something else. Don't waste your time in, I need to get the breath out. Sorry, that's not for you. I'm getting it. Great. Yes, Ari.
Yeah, so I guess the whole point is to get to a place where you're not moving.
Yes.
So when you're not moving, the arising and passing away can be seen.
Yes, because I am arising and passing away along with this same thing, which is the stupidest part. Vilas arises and Vilas departs. That's what the birth and death cycle is all about, right? But I have got nothing to do with this Vilas in the first place. It's conditioned. There's a condition associated. As long as they see this body, which is now 50-year-old, if I were to stay 100 years, that means 50 years has gone, right? Where did he go? He departed a long time ago. Hey, come on, he's alive. Who is alive? The body is not alive. That body. Neither the body is alive, nor the mind is alive, because it keeps on changing. Then the consciousness is also not alive. So if somebody had to put RIP, he can be putting it every day. Every morning is a new beginning, and a night a new end. Right? So I can keep on putting RIP. And if I am observer, if I'm not an observer, then life is jolly ride. I only wish I don't die. That's a wish. And nobody likes to die, right? Why? Because there is no observer effect. And that's also there in quantum mechanics. That's what we discussed the other day. That how this whole thing works. Okay, so this is the practice. You can basically do with any object. So keep an object. Keep one single object which works for you. That's it. Then you'll get it on every object. Once you get one, it's like once you know how to drive a car, it doesn't matter whether you can drive a Mercedes Benz or a BMW or a Ford or Jeep or this or that. It doesn't matter. It's a car, it's a car. Whether it's a manual transmission or an auto transmission or a hybrid model or this model, doesn't matter. Basically, it's a car. You know there's an exit, and you know there's a freeway, there, you know, this is junction and this is where to stop and this is where what is, you know. And that knowing, I know is what is the sati. But it has michya sati, a wrong knowledge. It doesn't have a samma sati, the proper knowledge, a proper way of understanding or remembrance. It remembers as vilas. It doesn't remember anything other than that. All the time, oh, I'm vilas, I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm feeding, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I live here, I live there, I want to be here, I want to be there. Whereas what I need to do is go the other side. Because this side is conditioned. And condition create problem. So unconditioned. Okay. Matt, you're yawning good. Maybe you didn't sleep.
No, I haven't been sleeping that good lately.
Okay. Irrespective of that, it's already 10:05 here. So let me go to sleep. Yeah, even you are yawning. Okay. No worries. It's fine.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the talk because I'm like always interested in it. I don't know. I think I need to start getting 8 hours of sleep, like they say. Or hey, you know, when you told me about the lion posture Vilas, I did that, but I think I slept in it wrong and it hurt my back.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so maybe I'll try that again then.
Yeah, sure, you could do that.
Right now, it's about my meditation time, and I tend to get a bit sleepy when I'm, around my meditation.
All right, so that's what it is. We can choose any object. It doesn't really matter. It need not be breath. Okay, the difference between the Buddha Dhamma and others is that the initial starting point is the same, but you get stuck with the breath. It only tranquilizes. It doesn't get into the vipassana investigation. And there's nothing called as anupassana in any other methods. So, yes.
But even in other tradition or other practices, when you're watching the breath properly, they also get into the observer effect, right?
Yes, they do. They do get into the observe effect. So then there is one sutta where Buddha explains the difference between his and others. Until the eighth jhana, they all are the same. First and foremost, we need to understand any Tom, Dick, and Harry, if they are on the road, they can enter into the eighth jhana without any problems if they know how to do it. It's a beautiful thing to be. But once the term ends, that is after millions of years, they go wherever they have to go. There's nothing like you don't like to be born as a human, but there's nothing called liking or disliking. The situation, the conditions brought, necessary condition brought that being which was in the eighth jhana to drop out of the eighth jhana and land in a womb. He didn't choose it, it just happened because of the condition. Now, when you practice Buddha Dhamma, because that you are letting go, you at least safeguard a level, right? So even if I have experienced only till 8 jhana on the Buddha Dhamma, it's sufficient enough for me to enter into the Brahma realm of existence and stay there. That means I will exhaust all my thing over there rather than coming down here and getting lost in this transition. We are all lost in transition. We are a transit players, but we have become non-transit, right? It's like you take a flight, you're supposed to be taking, you have a transit visa. It says your transit visa, man. You're not supposed to be staying there, but you somehow love the place and say, oh, wait. You know what? Please get me the visa extended. I love this place. Are you sure? Yes. Hey, guy, you're a transit passenger. I say, no, I think you got it wrong. I don't mind paying as much as you want, but I need to be staying here. Then he says, your wish. Okay, I can't say much. So let me give you 50-year visa. Would that be sufficient for you? And I say, yes. Seems to be good. After 50, I'll go for renewal. What renewal? The visa is only for 50 years. What's there to renew? And now what? Guess what? Which visa will I get? Ethiopia. Because that's another transit point, right? I have to fight my way out. I don't want Ethiopia. Like that. Because you get what you deserve, or I get what I deserve. So at this point in time, the visa talks about Ethiopia.
Without Buddha, no one teaches you should give up all the visa.
That's the problem. So now you keep on collecting visas. Your passport is going to increase. So you're going to be born in so many places. Enjoy the jolly ride. Even though you were staying in the 8th jhana. So all of us know how to enter into the jhana or into meditative absorption. We know, but we don't know how. How did we get earlier? Now we have learned it. Not the hard way, in a soft way, and we have learned it. So we can go to the 8th jhana and we can see what happens between the 8th and the 9th. How do I put it? And that's what it is all about. So for some people who cannot get into the jhana way, there are other ways of doing it. It need not be, it's necessarily jhana. No, that need not be the case. He can do through dhatu, he can do through kasina, he can do through various approaches. It need not be one or the other, whatever it is. It can be many. But samatha is a must. Samatha need not be through breath. Samatha is all about tranquilizing. That shaking is reduced. So Matt, for you and me, we can take breath. For Aryu, he can try breath. If it doesn't work, he can take whatever comes for him. So there's nothing like he trying to master what you have doing on breath, and that guy is getting so much worked up now. I need to get this right.
It's okay. I'm just a beginner. I only tried it for a month. Yeah.
No, you try. No, you try. And what I'm saying, Aryu, is don't fight with yourself. That's what I wanted to tell you. That don't fight with yourself. The more you fight with yourself, the worse it gets.
Yes.
You have to be compassionate with yourself. Oh, it's okay.
Yes.
If you are very critical, Matt is getting, this guy is getting, that guy is getting, that guy is getting, why am I not getting? Am I doing something wrong? The moment we do it, restlessness has taken over, and that's it. You're in a jolly ride of roller coaster. So instead of landing in a nice place, you're landed in Florida with the roller coaster ride of Disney World.
Math taught me to enjoy. I think that's the biggest thing I need to cultivate more.
Yes. See, the meditation should be, or the breath watching should be a fun filled activity, a joyous ride, than a pressure filled activity that, I need to watch it. That shouldn't be there.
Yes.
It sounds like it'd be like a job that you know, it's like
You're very talking.
Matt, your voice has become very much crappy. Ah,
Is that better?
no, it's fine now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I was saying that it can't be like a job that you're miserable at. You know, you have to enjoy doing it.
Correct.
Yes.
Like, it's not a chore, you know, it's like it's a relief to watch your breath.
Yes, absolutely. It should be like you're letting go of everything through the breath.
Yes.
So that means you shouldn't get worked up.
Yes.
But if I'm getting worked up, it means that there is something wrong. And the moment I get worked up, and that's it. This thing is sealed forever. Like the Mexicans trying to climb up the wall and come to California, and the police says, hey, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Okay. I will not climb.
So
I'll just enjoy Mexico.
Yeah, so the restlessness is the border patrol.
yes, yes.
Okay.
And we are landing without the visa. Right? So that border patrol guy is saying that a sheriff comes out and says, hey, get out, man, before I shoot you. So the guy is running. And he has paid a lot of money to enter into the US, but it didn't work. He sold his land or whatever, house and things, and he thought that let me come to California, jump into California. Right, so it didn't work out.
Just to discover that there is no California.
Exactly. If he
Sutta.
had known there's no California, he would have done that, right? There's nothing called California anyway. So, so if we were to bring that into the breath, you know what it is? Just body sankharas. That's it. Nothing special. Just a sankhara. So you're watching it. So he says, Sabba sankhara samato, tranquilizing the sankharas, preparation. That's all what you're trying to do. There's no special. The moment I make breath as a special thing, I've already made it an abhisankhara. And then the problem starts. It's just like going to the restroom. There's nothing special about a restroom. Even though the environment created for the restroom looks very nice, maybe with perfumes and some people, I used to do that, which is wrong, is that I used to take a magazine or a book and read, and I'd made a small library kind of thing in a place where I shouldn't be doing all of that. But I got hooked up because I was to see it in every US home. That's how they used to do. Okay, let me also do it. Then I felt, what am I doing? It's ridiculous to do it. So I stopped doing it. Otherwise, beautifying the bathroom was one of the obsession I had got. Okay.
Yeah.
And that looks stupid to me because you're actually defacing things and you're making it so look so attractive. Okay. So that means I'm adding so much of sensuality into it, into a thing which is not even worth a dime. Right? So I threw it out, saying that that's stupid. Right? So breath is something like that. No value. I'm just watching the breath. I'm not doing anything with the breath. The moment I do something with the breath, abhisankhara kicks in. So now you're doing something with the breath.
Yeah, I think when I just started, when I do like 10-15 minutes of watching the breath and, follow the early process of the book, it was working pretty well. I was enjoying almost every time. But then in a later chapter, it talked about I have to find all the different type of feelings in the breath, like 5 different feeling in the in breath and few different in the out breath. And I should do, see all the different parts. I think that become an effort for me. So I think then I lost the plot when I tried to do that.
Then
And
you
then
stop. Then you stop there. Don't go further till you get the clarity. Don't try. Just leave it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the moment you start thinking on that, the breath is forgotten.
Yeah.
Right. The moment I see the San Francisco International Airport, I'm in San Francisco. Before San Francisco, I was telling myself there's nothing called San Francisco. There's just a piece of land. But when I land in the airport and I see, wow, what a place, man. It's so nice. Over. Game over. Right? Because SFO is taken over. Where's the breath? It's gone.
Okay, I want to go watch the breath now.
Okay, enjoy. Enjoy your ride.
Thank
All
you.
right. Good night or good day to you, and see you tomorrow or whenever.
All right.
All right.
Y'all have a good
Thank you. Bye bye.
good night. Good day.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.